to get a preview of TED Talk live.
For free?
Yeah, for free. Well, you can see them online for free too. Our next speaker, she's an avid Zumba lover looking to shake some world on her mission to create innovative mobile and web experience as a product visionary for different local companies. Gali is a Canadian-born Israeli living in Vancouver for more than 6 years now. And she is looking to inspire women around the world to be sexy, smart, ambitious in everything they choose independently in life. Please help me welcome Gali's speech, Squeeze Your Website's Juice.
Squeeze your website's juice. How to engage and monetize users online. Who has a website here? Who thinks that he can upgrade his website? Many businesses are online, but very few do it well. And I'm going to start with a quote from my life mentor, which is my dad. Life is like a centrifuge. Rapid changes benefit the fast thinkers. All the rest are on the edges. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. My name is Gali Wessler, and I've been invited tomorrow to give a speech for the Jewish Community Center. And everybody are welcome tomorrow for the speech and the business event at Kaylee's downtown at 7:30 p.m. And it is my pleasure to give a speech about user monetization and user engagement. I'm a digital consultant for the past 7 years, and I've been working with a lot of big-size companies and small startups, and I was helping them achieve happiness with their online experiences. Some high-profile projects that I was involved in was the Times Colonist. You guys know the Times Colonist?
Yeah,
It's a very famous newspaper website. They have about 4 million page views a month. And one of the tasks in front of us was to redesign the website and to connect it to a content management system. Another high-profile project was Business in Vancouver. You guys familiar with Business in Vancouver? Another very known newspaper site. There's been other products such as hotel coupons and the rebrand from RoomSaver, which gives online coupons for different hoteliers in the U.S. And there's been other small startups, such as one emerging startup in Seattle called Lightbright, where you're able to find your match through your Facebook friends. And a lot of the things that I do for these startups is I provide them consulting of how they can engage the users online and how they can make money from their websites. So let me ask you a question. Why do you think you need to engage your users online?
more revenue, more so that they buy stuff. Profits.
So that they buy stuff from you.
So that they will like, love me and buy stuff. Yes.
Sorry, what was that?
Create new relationships.
Why their audience?
These are very, very correct answers. There's a lot of competitors in the online world. Anybody can make a website, but if you remember the previous slide, I said many businesses are online, very few do it well. So if you remember the quote from my dad that says life is like a centrifuge, there's rapid changes happening all the time, and if you don't catch up, you're going to be left on the edges. And then you're going to lose traffic from your users, and you're going to lose revenue from your website, potential big revenue from your website, which is why you want to learn about ways to engage users online. And I'm going to deliver this speech in phases. I'm going to teach you about very fundamental steps that you need to take in user engagement. I'm going to take you all the way up to more sophisticated ways, where if you're a medium-sized company, you can probably implement those user engagement ways. So if you create a lovable brand, you're able to create monetization for your website. And you want to create a website that is interactive, a website that is playful, a website that really shows your brand and your identity. So how do you squeeze your website's potential? We're going to talk about three major things today. Number one is we're going to talk about high usability and fast results, which means that your website is going to be loading, the pages are going to be loading very fast. You don't want to be sitting in front of a website that loads pages every 5 hours. Number two is user engagement. How do you interact with your users online? And number three is online monetization. How can you make your revenue online? So we talk about usability. I don't know if you can see the slide very well. This is bad usability. This used to be the old website of the Times Colonist. And there's a few things that I wanted to highlight in this bad usability. Number one is, it's a very old design. It's a very 80s kind of design. And if you look at most websites, give me any website of any small shop, big shop, their website is going to be old and outdated. And most probably, if it's a very complicated site like a newspaper, the navigation at the top is going to be very cumbersome. It's very hard to navigate, which is why they put the search box on the top. Another thing is, what is the main call to action in a newspaper? What's the most important thing in the newspaper site?
Headlines.
Headlines. The article. The main articles. And here you see that they're showcasing one article, which is very big. Here above the fold is a term that we use in websites, which is what happens before you start scrolling down a page. So what they have above the fold is the main article. What if there's a way for them to insert more articles? How are they going to do that? Another thing, there's very little user engagement here. Users, they like to click on videos. The videos, you can't even see it. The page is so long, I couldn't even fit it here. The videos are way down there. So, to summarize the bad usability, there was old design, there was cumbersome navigation, the main article is too big and eccentric, and there's unrelated content and very little user engagement. This is how the new website looks like. And mind you, these are the mock-ups that I was working with the team. And the mock-ups that I create are not necessarily, if you were to go to Times Colonist right now, it's not necessarily going to be equal, because it's built on a content management system where the editors are able to edit and completely change the design. So if the design is different, it's because they took it that way. But the initial concept was to basically have very easy navigation, to bring the design to a new design, very light colors. Also to have a slideshow of the main article. So because obviously you're going to have a few main articles, probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 main articles that are happening, you want to present it in a slideshow. So you want the user to be able to scroll from one article to another, but also to have an auto-scrolling. Sorry, this is 10-minute speech. Another thing is trending videos. We want the user to be able to interact with the site. We want the user to watch different news by videos. And we also want the user to log into the website, because we want to retrieve the user's data so that later on we can customize the experience for them. So to summarize, we provided simple design, easy navigation, a slideshow of the main article, related content focusing on video, user engagement by having, for example, a social login, and fast and easy way to load the website pages. So we talked about number one, usability. Number two, we want to talk about the user engagement. So how do you start with the user engagement? The fundamental thing that you need to have is you need to have an identity for your website. You need to have some sort of a corporate identity. And you want to have a brand. You want to develop your brand. And then you want to develop a logo that will then reflect about your brand and your identity. So I want to give you a really good example about a strong brand. Are you familiar with Orange Telecommunications? Yes, coming from Europe. It's a very well-known telecommunication company, almost similar to Rogers, but they are much more advanced. These guys were advanced in the 90s. They were so advanced that when they built their identity, they built it with an orange box, where the idea from Orange is to be innovative in a telecommunication and wireless world. They were the first ones to introduce to us, the consumers, to bill us by seconds and not by minutes. I remember back in the day when I used to work for them in customer service, they used to not bill for voicemail. Imagine that, not bill for voicemail. Yes, that's something that maybe Rogers would want to consider in 12 years after the fact. They were so innovative. that they've integrated their brand and identity everywhere. Every time you saw a commercial with an orange and a black, you knew that it was orange. And that is an amazing association that you want to do with your brand. That's why it's successful. Now we're going to build upon user engagement. Number 2 is, if you're not doing it so far, you want to do social sharing. You want to be able for people to like your page and follow you on Twitter. But let me tell you a little secret. That's passé already. That's passé because Facebook are now changing their algorithm where if you have a sponsored sharing, I don't know if you've read this article lately, your sharing is going to be shown on top versus showing the organic sharing. So social sharing. Another thing that you want to do is customization. There's a company, a really well-known company in Montreal called Beyond the Rock. You're familiar with them. One of the suggestions for them is to do customization for their website. And how do they do customization? They must learn about their customer. And another level, which is a bit higher level, is gamification. You want to be able to provide gaming mechanics in a non-gaming environment. A really good example is Chameleonaire. I don't have enough time, but if you come and see me tomorrow, I'll explain a little bit more. Chameleonaire, if you're able to Google him, then you'll see how he's integrating gaming and rewarding on his website to engage his many, many users online. An even higher level for monetization is to be able to do custom advertisements. So to summarize, we've learned today about high visibility, fast results, user engagement, and online monetization. Thank you.